People seem, for some reason, to just have this misconception stuck in their brains that anything related to senior living is a nursing home. And it's like, I think they picture the full-on like 1970s convalescence home where it's just really awful and sad and dreary. And that is not at all. That maybe that's your mom's grandmother was in a place like that. But there are so many options, and senior living has come such a long ways. Welcome to Aging in Style with me, Lori Williams. I'm an optimist by nature, and I believe you can follow your dreams at any age. My grandmother's journey with dementia ignited a passion in me to work with seniors. I've spent the past 13 years learning about seniors and aging. In my mid-50s, I followed my own dream and founded my company, where I use my expertise to help seniors locate housing and resources. On this podcast, we cover all aspects of aging. Join us each week to meet senior living experts and inspirational seniors who are following their dreams. The fact is, we're all aging, so why not do it in style? Hi, welcome to today's episode of Aging in Style with Lori Williams. Okay, so many times we talk about senior living and we talk about how confusing it can be, how stressful, how there's so many options out there, and it's, easy to kind of lose your way as you're searching for the right type of senior housing or senior resources. So today I want to talk about the top 5 senior living misconceptions that are out there. And these are ones that I hear, probably every day or every other day. So I think it's really important to get this message out. And I don't think I've probably said it, on some of our other episodes, but I don't think I can say it too often because it still keeps coming up. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to cover the 5 most asked questions that I think cause the most confusion or fear for people. And then, once we get through this, hopefully you'll feel a little more educated about this. So, all right, here we go. The number one, actually, these are in no specific order, but I'm just going to say the first one we're going to start with would be, I can't move my mom to a nursing home. I promised Dad he would never go to a nursing home. Or maybe it's a senior calling themselves and saying, I am not going to a nursing home. Okay, what do you think a nursing home is? Because all senior living is not nursing home. There are so many options, but people seem, for some reason, to just have this misconception stuck in their brains that anything related to senior living is a nursing home. And it's like, I think they picture the full-on like 1970s convalescence home where, it's just really awful and sad and dreary. And that is not at all. That maybe that's your mom's grandmother was in a place like that. But there are so many options, and senior living has come such a long ways. And so very often I will get a call from someone and they'll say, it's time to move Mom to a nursing home. And I'll say, okay, what do you think a nursing home is? And what do you mean by a nursing home? And then in our conversation, we'll find out that, Mom is a active 73-year-old who just wants to be in a senior apartment. Basically, she just wants to be around other seniors and in a nice apartment. So not a nursing home, guys, not a nursing home. So I hope that helps when you think of senior living. Not everything is a nursing home. So we have senior apartments, independent living, assisted living, memory care, and care homes. And within all of those, they're all very different. There's different price ranges. Some are very fancy. Some are a little bit older. Some are smaller. Some are huge, like resorts. So there are so many options out there. So don't limit your belief to thinking that anything senior housing related is a nursing home. So that's number 1. Number 2, and this question comes along at least a few times a week. And I feel so bad when I have to burst the bubble, but people will call me and say, okay, you know what? It's time for my mom. She needs care. She needs to move. I'm thinking maybe, assisted living or whatever it may be. And Medicare pays for that, right? Sadly, no. Medicare is your health insurance. That's the easiest way I can put it. So that's health insurance. Medicare is going to cover if you go to the doctor, your medications. It's going to cover hospitalization. It may cover some short-term rehab, some home health, but it is not going to cover where you live. It's not going to cover for you to go live in a senior apartment or an independent living or assisted living or even in a long-term nursing care or a nursing home, that dreaded word. But it is simply your health insurance. So it always makes me sad to burst their bubble because I can just see people, I can just feel it. They just deflate when I tell them, okay, Medicare is not going to cover senior living. Okay, so now that's 2 misconceptions we have addressed. Let's hit the third one. And this one just happened today. So you're in luck. I have a story for you. So I had a lady call me and she said, my mom needs assisted living. We have to move her. She has to go to assisted living. I go, okay, well, tell me what's going on. What's happening with your mom? Oh, well, she's just kind of lonely at home. She'd like to be around some other people and she really loves to play bridge. And that's it. And so I said, does she have any care needs? Because assisted living, typically you're going to need some care done for you, maybe help with bathing or dressing or medication. There's always something involved. And she said, no, but I visited a local assisted living and they said she can live there for $5,000 a month. And I'm like, but she doesn't need assisted living. Do you just want to spend $5,000 a month? I was very confused. And so we talked some more. And quite honestly, what her mother needed and is what is going to be the perfect place for her is a senior apartment where she can have her own place. And it's going to cost about $1,500 a month versus $5,000 a month. She doesn't need meals. She doesn't need housekeeping. She doesn't need help bathing or dressing. And there is no need for her to go to assisted living. But the assisted living, we're ready to take her, which really kind of makes me angry. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I feel like you should be honest with what people need. And sometimes people don't do their due diligence. And I've had this happen before where someone will call me and say, oh, my mom has been living in an assisted living for 5 years. She's been paying $4,000 a month or whatever it may be. Oh, she had no care needs. She was just living there to get, meals and socialization. And now she's run out of money and truly needs help. Those are the kind of stories that make me a little bit angry. I'm not going to lie, because we could have found something where she could receive the things that she needed for a lot less money and hold on to the money for when she actually needed the care. So that's why I think it's so important. One, do your due diligence. Don't go to one place and go, okay, I believe that this is assisted living is what she needs, and not be educated. Because in this case, the lady I talked to today, she did not need assisted living. So that is why I think it's so important to do your research. Call me. This is what my service exists for. I just don't want people making expensive mistakes or mistakes that it's just not to put someone in the wrong place when they don't need assisted living. That is not a help. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, and y'all, I talk about this all the time and I still get this question. Dad is not going to be able to move because he cannot part with his little Chihuahua Rex or whatever. I can think of a name. So he cannot part with Rex, his Chihuahua. Guys, there are so many places that accept animals and even have little dog parks. I mean, people in senior living, okay, they understand how important it is. You're having your animal with you that you love, whether it's a dog or a cat. As we've talked before, that there are some restrictions on breed and size of the animal. Some places will allow you, 2 pets, or I haven't heard of many that allow 3, but, normally 1 to 2 are allowed. There are walking trails in many places. There's actual dog parks that have been built. You know, if you're in assisted living and can't care for the pet, there are many assisted livings that for an extra fee you can add on, and they will take care of your pet for you. They will walk your little foo-foo dog or your little Chihuahua Rex or whatever. So just know that you can bring your pet. Don't let it be something that keeps you from moving forward, even though the best thing is, you know, once you're at a point that you need the socialization, the meals, the housekeeping, you know, if you're going to move to a place where you can thrive rather being in your home where you're not thriving and you're only staying there because of your pet, guys, you can take your pet with you. So anyhow, sorry, I got really excited about that. And then the fifth misconception or question that I get all the time, I don't know that it's actually a question. It does make me laugh because everyone is so surprised by it, the adult children, but I get this call all the time. They'll say, "Oh, Lori, my dad or my mom, they are not going to go. They say only old people live in those places. Only old people." And God love them. You know what? When I'm 90, I'm probably going to be saying the same thing, that these are just a bunch of old people. But they all say it. And sometimes I think it's sort of like in fun. And then in other circumstances, I think it's maybe like kind of like a self-defense sort of thing, that maybe I'm not ready for this, especially if they've gone to look at an assisted living and maybe dad is really more, you know, on the independent side. And sometimes I think it's fear. Like if you go and look at a community and, you know, and people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, sure, many are going to be using assistive devices, you know, walkers or maybe a wheelchair or scooter, but they're staying independent because they have these devices. So don't be surprised if your mom or dad says, "I'm not moving there because only old people live there." It's a pretty common response. We all hear it. It always, I think, kind of makes us chuckle a little bit, but it's just one of those things that people say. But those are my top 5 senior living misconceptions. And as I said, I hear each of these probably, you know, a couple of times a week. But I just wanted to address those because if I'm getting these questions all the time, I'm betting many of you are thinking the same thing and having the same questions. So I think it's important to address them. If y'all have questions or something you really, really want me to talk about on the show, please send me a message. I would love to know what y'all are thinking, what things have you a little bit confused out there, and I will certainly do a show or at least direct you to some resources. As always, I appreciate you listening to the show, and you can go check out all the podcast episodes on my website, which is loriwilliams-seniorservices.com. And please share the podcast and website with your friends and family. We are on, oh my goodness, Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and Alexa. And of course, on my website. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.